Hi everyone, so today I'm going to do the book tag that Red Hannah 91 did, and I will link her just here. Hopefully I'll work out how to do an annotation that will let me link her just here. So this is a book tag that she started last week, so I thought I would give it a go and see what you guys think. So here we go. Okay, so question one is, what's your favourite book that you've recently read? And I'm going to cheat and say two books for this one. The first one is The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins, and I did a review of this yesterday or the day before, so check that out if you are interested to know what I thought of this book. Really original idea, really well executed, thoroughly enjoyed it. And the second one that I've read recently is The Lovely Bones by Alice Sebold, or Sebold, I think it's Sebold. Um, I saw the movie of this when it came out last year, and I really enjoyed it. It wasn't what I was expecting at all. I thought it was going to be a chick flick, I guess, and I actually really enjoyed it. It was a really good story. And I picked up the book just before Easter, I think, sort of February, March time, and just read it in like 3 or 4 days. Really, really good. It's told from the perspective of a 14-year-old girl who's murdered. That's not a spoiler, you find that out in the first couple of pages. And it's basically a story about how she's coping with the afterlife and how her family are coping with her death on Earth. And it sounds a bit sort of spiritually and maybe a bit weird, but it's really good. It's a really lovely story, and I would really recommend this to anyone. If you've seen the film, the book is amazing. There's so much in here that you don't get in the book. You find out a lot more about her sister and her younger brother that isn't even touched on in the film. Really, really good. Thoroughly, thoroughly recommend this one. And on to question number two is, what book would you read when you're travelling? I can't actually read when I'm physically travelling, like if I'm on a coach or a train or in the car, because it makes me feel really, really travel sick. So I can't read while I'm going along, which is kind of a pain. I don't know if I can read if I'm on a plane because I've never been on a plane. So I don't know. Book I would take with me when I'm going on holiday is probably just whatever book I'm reading at the time when I go, to be honest. I wouldn't pick a particular book to take with me. So that's the easy answer to that one. Next question, your favourite books as a child. Now, here is my biggest confession. I didn't really read that much as a child, other than books that we had to read for school. Like when I was really, really tiny, um, we used to read a hell of a lot at school. We used to have to take a book home every couple of days or once a week or something and read aloud to your parents. So obviously I read then, um, but I always felt that I was being forced into reading, so I never really saw it as an enjoyable activity that I chose to do. So then when I got to secondary school and to college, I only really read what we had to read. But now I'm so much older, this is when I'm now getting back into books. I have favourite books that are designed for children, so I'm going to use those. Obviously, I really enjoy the Harry Potter books, but I don't really see those as kids books. So my favourite books for smaller children are The Wonderful Wizard of Oz by L. Frank Baum. If you haven't read it and you've only seen the MGM film, I really recommend reading it because it's actually kind of scary. There's a lot of stuff in it, like the Wicked Witch sends a lot of beasties after the four friends, and yeah, there are bits of it that are quite scary. I first read this when I was at college, actually, and we were doing a production of The Wiz, and I was co-directing, so I wanted to see what the source material was like. And it was the first time I'd read it, and I've always loved The Wizard of Oz, the film, and I loved it, and I've read it probably 5 or 6 times, I guess. So that's a good book. I always like having a copy of this in my house, that I can just pick up whenever I fancy it. And the second one is Alice's Adventures in Wonderland by Lewis Carroll. This is probably the third copy of this book that I've owned, but I really like the cover on this one. Again, I read this. I think we used to have it as a story tape when I was a kid, so I knew it practically off by heart before I read it. But I didn't, again, read this till I was maybe at college, I think. And since then, I've read it half a dozen times, maybe 10 times. Again, just because I know it so well, it's one of those books I can just pick up and read in like two or 3 days, maybe. This has got Adventures in Wonderland and Through the Looking Glass. I think I actually prefer Through the Looking Glass to Wonderland. It's just my personal choice. But yes, those are my 2 children's books that I'm going to pick for this question. Question 4. What is your favourite series? Again, I'm going to cheat. I'm just going to cheat at all these questions. I'm going to cheat and say 2 series that I really like. First series that I've read recently is the Hunger Games trilogy by Suzanne Collins. I've done a review of the whole series, but in case you haven't seen that and you don't know what I'm talking about, the 3 books are The Hunger Games, which looks like that. Book 2 is Catching Fire, that looks like that. And book 3 is Mockingjay, that looks like that. And my second favourite series is the Wicked series by Gregory Maguire. There are 3 books at the moment, but there is going to be a 4th and final book coming out in 2012 at some point. That's what I've heard at the moment. So for any of you who've not read the Wicked trilogy as it stands, they are Wicked, The Life and Times of the Wicked Witch of the West. Don't know if you can see this subtitle there. That's the first book. Book 2 is Son of a Witch, and book 3 is A Lion Among Men. I love these books partly because I love the covers, that they're all mostly black and green. I just think they look gorgeous. Question 5 in the list is, what's your favourite genre? I'm going to probably say fantasy, but I put a lot of stuff into that. I think nearly all the books I've said so far I would fit into fantasy. Stuff I don't like is probably easier to describe. I don't like chick lit type books. Okay, the next question is, what are your favourite rereads? I'm currently rereading the Harry Potter series that I've got up there on my shelf. The first 3 or 4 I've read a couple of times each over, and the last 3, I think I've read 5 and 6 once. I think I got halfway through Deathly Hallows, but I know what happens because I've got the Stephen Fry audiobooks, so I've listened to all of them, but now it's the actual act of reading them. So I'm rereading those at the moment, but I don't want to take them all off my shelf because it's a bit of a pain. Secondly, Wicked I've reread about 3 times, I think, because I read it the first time, then I reread it before Son of a Witch came out, and then I reread it before Lion Among Men came out. So this has seen quite a lot of action. And also Alice in Wonderland is probably my next biggest reread, and I've actually bought myself a new copy, which is the annotated Alice, which I'm quite looking forward to. So basically, I'm trying to find a good page, you get, oh, I hope this comes out okay. These 2 middle columns are the original text, and then on the sides you get all these kind of footnotes that explain different links and things in the text. So I'm really looking forward to reading that. Again, that will just be a nice, easy, quick read later in the year for me, because I know the story so well. I just want to get the extra information and stuff, really. So, yes, Alice and Wicked are my 2 favourite reads. Question 7, your favourite books that are now films. I would say some of the Harry Potter books, but not all of them. I didn't like Half-Blood Prince, for example. I thought they changed too much. But I do tend to look at the books and the films as different things, because the films can never be all of what the books were. So that's how I try and critically look at them. Other than that, Lovely Bones, fantastic film. Like I say, saw that before I saw the book, before I read the book. but fantastic. Really enjoyed that. There are probably others, but I can't think of them right now. So if I think of any more, I'll let you know in future videos. Okay, finally we're on to favourite books of all time. I hate putting lists like this together because I change my mind all the time. And I think I've done like favourite film lists in the past, and I always forget stuff and then or see another film and add stuff in later. So at the moment, these are my favourite books, and I'm going to be controversial and only have 4 because it's my list and I can. So firstly, I'm going to say Owly Book 1, Flying Lessons, just because it's such an easy read and it's so cute. I love it. Number 2, these are in no particular order, just the order I'm holding them up, not order of preference. Number 2, Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, both books in one book. Brilliant. Paper Towns by John Green that my boyfriend also got me for Christmas because this was the first John Green book I read. I know, how late to that party am I? But loved it. So anyone who's not read Paper Towns, it's a really enjoyable read actually. Go and get it now. And lastly, Wicked, just because it's a really original idea, well executed, and a great retelling of a story. So there we go. So that's my book tags video. Thank you to RedHannah91 for suggesting it. And I tag anybody who would like to do this. Everyone have a go. I will put all the questions in the down bar so you can have a quick read through and see what they are. And if anyone wants to post a video response to this with your versions, I would love, love, love to see them. So there we are. Thanks for watching, guys, and I hope you have a good day. Bye!